Hello, it's Scott, and it's Sunday, so happy weekend to you. And I got some requests over the last week or so to share my plant room. And I think I shared that I got a new bird, Xerxes, so I thought I would go ahead and do an update on my room. I got the lights on going now, and any noise you hear are the lights, and they really don't bother me that much. So I got some other lights that hang down. I got from IKEA. I'll show them to you as well. But let me give you a little tour of my plant room. So I need to start out with Xerxes, and so I just put him in the cage. He's been out for a number of hours. But first thing in the morning, I take off his the cloth over his cage, and I've had him for, I don't know, maybe 10 days so far, but he comes out very easily, and he spends a lot of time down here. So here's where Xerxes spends most of his time. He does go around the room, but he likes it there. And if he goes to the bathroom, he pretty much goes in the pot, which isn't a problem. And I also have underneath there a little towel in case he misses the pot. But since he likes hanging out at one place, not too much of an issue. He's made himself to be a good companion for this room. He fits in really well. So he's a good boy. All right, so let me show you what I've got going on. I still have those Telencias, Xerographicas. I ended up getting, I don't know, I went to Lowe's, and I think I might have 12 or 13 of these things, and they were marked down to, I think, $1 or so. And so I put them up here because they're lightweight. I spray them with rainwater, mist them once a week, and I've got some other cactus and things that don't need to be watered so much up there as well. And so that's turned out to be a good place in my plant room to have some things. And I got these bowls still on the side, and of course my other companion, Maxwell. Say hi, Max. Yes, he's a good boy. He's a good boy, Max. And so I got these bowls. I think they were from a big box, Lowe's maybe. And they come with either a ring you can put on the bottom and set them, or the hardware where you can hang them. And so I decided just to hang them, so I ain't got to worry about them in terms of the space to put them on. And I got these lights from IKEA, grow lights, and they seem like they're responding pretty well. You can see definitely some new growth, and I put some cactus around it. And same with over here. And this is the main area of my plant room. You might remember this from some photos I put in. I got some golden barrel cactus on top. That seemed like they're doing pretty well. More Telencias, different varieties. Besides the Xerographica, got a couple of others. And Burro's tail. And this was a light that I got. I get all my lights, just to show you real quickly. And there's a brand name there you might be able to read. I get them from whenever Amazon has like a special day where they're discounted. I'm not a real big, brand name person or even light color person, so they can be real white, maybe a little bit more pinkish, and then you got some red down here. And so I'm not really that big into caring what the color of my lights are. Now, one thing I did do, and I am going to stop this in a minute to turn the lights off so I can continue, but you might see in the back, those are some space blankets. I ran a race back in November, and they gave those to me at the end, and so I just decided to use them against the wall. So when I spray them, I can go ahead and not get moisture on the wall, but it also reflects the light. So I decided to leave the flying saucer on because I can get all the other lights off rather easy. One thing about this, I put my lights on timers because I've got some outlets behind the tree there, the FICA, and behind that piece of furniture there, and it's not really easy to get to. So I put them on timers, and they're on about, I'd say, about 12 hours a day. And so, but this small disc isn't too bad. So up here mainly are most of my cactus. Now one thing that I've done, I try to basically write down all my cactus, all my plants, to tell you the truth, because I tend to forget. Now the problem with doing that is they're not very attractive, for one, and in this case it's hard to get it back into the soil because it's very dry with that cactus. But another problem is I had some insect issues, and so the copper spoons, pretty easy. They are big. I might come back and take care of that. But when I was spraying, I used some isopropyl alcohol, and it takes the permanent marker off. And so most of my plants are in fact marked, but I got to come up with a different system because unless I don't bring my plants outside at all, I'm going to have maybe some insect issues in the future. So let me show you in the back. And you wouldn't think that cactus would be an issue, and those of you who grow cactus will know this is true. When you bring them outside for the first time, they're very prone to sun scorch, even though they've been under lights. And so come springtime, late spring, when I bring them outside, I'm going to need to slowly bring them in to the sun so they don't burn. Because once you do that, it's hard to have them grow out of it, which they will eventually. So anyways, this is a Eve's needle back here. And now these are my orchids. Now again, this is a case in point where I buy these plants like they're marked down after they've bloomed for $1 or something, and then I just fertilize, water them, put them under the lights. And here's an example of one that's come back beautifully on its own, and I have others that are starting to come back as well. So I got a very big mixture. My lithops are looking kind of wrinkly, but I don't want to, especially when they're splitting like that one, I don't want to give them any much moisture at all, but I do occasionally spray. And so again, a little example of what I do. And I'm not going to be as arrogant to say that all my plants love it and are doing great, but they're doing better than they otherwise would have. So I spent a lot of time in this room, and there are some plants that I've had that are stretching, and I've had to behead and replant elsewhere. And then of course here's an example of me beheading a bunch of the succulents, and I'm going to need to put them in some soil and see if I can get some new ones to grow from that. The agave. So I try to keep them where I can because my room isn't gigantic. I try to come up with places. I got my seedlings for outside of my garden started, my tomato plants, some flowers. Same thing down there. Some of them starting, you can maybe see. And whenever I, again, do something with a plant, I never throw things away. unless it's completely dead, I just put the leaves and then I get to them and put them in soil and see what I can do there. So my plant room definitely is not perfect, but it's a cool place to hang out, read. Of course, here's a Norfolk pine, which you guys might have recognized from Christmas. They had that for like $1. I grabbed it because I got a lot of plants in this room, but I'm not a purist when it comes to just having certain types. I like all types of plants. I enjoy this room immensely. I think everyone should have a room like this. It's not a very big room, but my wife joins me here on occasion, and I work. I got a standing desk where I do most of my work, and I can have the window or the mirror and the window across from each other. And so my window here, there's no curtains on it, but it's an east facing window, and so that's why I have all these shelves on the north wall. So as the sun starts curving, these shelves get a lot more sun, and so that's why if you don't have a west or south window, I only have one south-facing window, I think, in my entire house. You make do, and this is what I've been doing. And as you can tell, with the artificial lighting and how the orchids are doing and some other plants are doing, they're doing fine. So I wanted to give you guys a quick tour of my room. Maybe it's not so quick. And I collect my rainwater, and I do a lot of spraying. And then, of course, I've started to train my bird, so he likes it for his bath. So he's gotten into it. So anyways, I've found that adapting birds and plants and people in a room aren't any issues, and it's a good place to hang out and to work. And so you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.